Welcome to Are You Sure You Want to Know? Disruptive conversations about faith, culture, and everything in between. I'm Alvin. This is Mike.
Hello. Hey, wait, time out. Quick commercial. Looking right at the camera. You see this? This is Conversation Swag, and I know where you can get this stuff. Just go head on over to our website. I wore it for two reasons. One, because I'm trying to sell it, but also in the middle, you know how you always talk about how awesome it is that people can interrupt in the middle of the message?
Yeah.
Well, we were actually talking about this podcast, and they played the video for one of our teasers for the church to say, hey, here's something you might want to look at. And people interrupted. Hey, Mike, someone's like, man, you looked really young in that. This was like 2 months ago. And someone else was like, yeah, you need a haircut. This is all the commentary going on in church. Well, I'm like, I don't need a haircut.
So they were saying how great Alvin looked? Is that what it was? Nobody said nothing about me? No, I'm offended.
Anyway, well, I was offended too.
Offended about my group.
So hi, everyone. Glad you're here. Go on.
Yeah. So this is a really special episode. This is talking a little bit more about our last podcast. We were talking about Israel, what it means to be Israeli, or what that country is, or what it means. You know, I really don't. I still to this day have a hard time reconciling what it means to be Israeli, because that was an idea. I thought it wasn't like in the Bible. It was more like an idea rather than a nation. I mean, they didn't call themselves Israelis. They call themselves, Jews. They call themselves Jewish, Hebrews, or Israelites. It was never, I call myself an Israelite. What does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I'm still confused about that.
Yeah, we talked about this in the last one. It's very challenging, and some people say, Christianity is the extension of the Israel nation, and there's just a lot of it's a very confusing. If you haven't watched that podcast, go back and check that
definitely
out.
go watch that one first before you come back to this one, because it kind of sets the stage for what we're talking about today. We want to talk, because this has been a landmark event. Well, I say landmark because, I was looking at some of the information that's provided on the interwebs. And I once again, we talked about this before too. I have such a hard time accepting some of the stuff that I find as actual fact,
right?
Because I can put a few words in that statement, and find the diametrically opposed opinion, or a different set of statistics that prove my point, or the point of my opposition. It's just weird, man.
Yeah.
Like I could find support, quote unquote support, air bunnies, about any position I want.
This is Air Bunnies?
That's the Air Bunnies.
I never heard that before.
No, because little bunny, foo,
Okay.
hopping through that. No?
Yeah, no, I get it now. I just didn't know. I would say the same thing. As I was kind of looking up some of this stuff, trying to make sense of it, I was trying to source from non-politicized, storytelling.
Right now it's almost impossible.
And so I definitely stayed away from the big guys, because I really want to know what actually is going on, what actually happened. And so I would say, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I will speak for me. Any statement I'm making is based on what I found online. So I could be wrong on stuff. And I don't think I'm like the leading expert that you want to go to for information on this. I will share my thoughts. Well, you are, which is why you're here. So, but you know what I mean? I just want to be really humble and saying, like, there's language in here that borderlines on offensive, like real baiting kind of language that's used.
Always. You're always going to find that. You're always going to find that rage bait kind of stuff, dude. And I hate that, because I'm the guy that clicks it. I'm the guy that goes, because someone said, if you're a content creator, and you want interaction, you want people to see you or talk to you or make an opinion, the first thing you should do is say something ridiculously wrong,
right?
And then you're going to get as many people in the world to try to correct you.
Yes, that's
how you get engagement, right?
Yep.
So I'm their prime demographic, dude, because I will click that stuff almost every single time, just because someone will say something like, there's no way you believe that. Right. Come on, man.
Well, and if it's on the internet, it's true, right? So that works for some.
So I when I was doing this a search about the peace accords with Israel, and I don't want to say Palestine, because it's not Palestine, it's Hamas. Hamas is the aggregating factor here. They are the ones that have been causing or at least encouraging the conflict. Standard Palestinian people don't want conflict. Mom and pop going to the store and buying stuff does not want conflict.
Right.
The Israelis, standard Israelis, people who belong to the country of Israel, do not want conflict.
But as we talked about in the previous, this is a fight over land.
It is a language.
So there is that element to it. Not what you're saying is not wrong, but I'm just saying there is an additional component that people believe they have rights to claim that land. Both sides.
How does that get mitigated, though? Who has right to a land? Because you know, if I buy land in the United States,
Yes,
I have the right to tell you that you don't belong on it.
that's correct.
Until I don't pay my property taxes, and then the government can come in and take my land.
That's right.
So I don't really own it.
Well, and we did that, with the, when we came and took all the land in the Oklahoma land grab, and like we've done this. We came here. This was not our land, and we made it ours. For speaking as a white man,
Sure. European guy.
Yeah, we came here from not here, and we saw it, we liked it, we took it. It's ours.
I mean, we traded it, for some
Really?
smallpox infected horse blankets and
I was gonna say we traded it. What did we give them? Like a nickel?
bottle of firewater.
Yeah,
or something.
like it was.
No, I think it's. I'm being really, really, really irreverent, and I don't mean to be offensive, but I'm making a joke about that because I know even those people who occupied this land didn't really own the land either.
Yeah, that concept of owning land, if you historically it's really squatters' rights.
It's 100% because we did the same thing early United States. You could go out and stake a claim.
Literally, that's how you got land.
That's how you got the land. You didn't have to ask anybody. You were there first,
Yep.
and people will try to come steal it from you, and then that's how all this stuff started.
Okay, wait. Let's go and let's throw in the Bible. This is how Israel got the promised land, right? Nations were warring for land, and they would take you, and they would grab your land, and they would make you slaves. And
Right.
this is since the beginning of time the way the process has worked.
Well, we talked about that last episode too. Who owned Israel? Who owned this area? Who owned the promised land? It's been changed over, 24 times, and now we're at a peace accord. So this is the landmark event. Let's just kind of like go back to that. This has been another really important moment in history, but we've had a couple of those. The 1949 armistice agreements, Geneva, 1973, Camp David, 1978, Madrid, 1991, 1993, Oslo, 1993, 2001. So that's been 1996, 1999 agreements. Once again, a Camp David 2000 summit. How Clinton did the parameters for peace, and then the Arab Peace Initiative and the roadmap in 2002, 2003. And the world has been screaming for peace.
What was the 2003 Arab Peace Treaty? What did you call it? This was the last one you read there?
That wasn't the last one. But
just the one you read. This is the 2003 Arab.
No, that was not the Arab Accords. Yeah, the Arab Peace Initiative.
Because this is interesting. The Arab Peace Initiative is in 2003, according to that, and in 2005 or 2006 is when this whole Gaza Strip really reignited.
Israeli-Palestinian talks in 2007, 2008.
Yeah, But I was looking at again. This is just as I researched. In 2005, Israeli disengagement from the Gaza Strip, kind of they disengaged, and then Hamas won some elections. And they formed a government. First, they did it alone, and then they did it as a grand coalition with Fatah, which created in 2007. So just years after this Arab Peace Initiative that you're talking about, just years after that, this whole Gaza Strip thing comes into play, and now that we have basically a reignited Palestinian Liberation Organization.
PLO,
yeah, it's back. It's kind of the same thing, Which again, as you're reading that list, I'm like, which ones of these have actually made long-term difference? Because it seems like it creates a bump in the map. And then we're looking at something else.
How long ago, before Trump was doing this, how long before that was there at least an attempt by the world scene?
Are you talking like a coalition trying to
Yeah.
resolve
Hey, guys, we need to knock this off. Like before, when was it? Do we know? It was like 2014, I think. I think it was 2014.
Yeah. Just check with the producer who knows everything about this.
Yeah,
he does not.
So 10 years ago, so this has been 10 years of conflict. That's banana bread.
No, it's more actually. Let me see.
Oh no, it's been since the beginning of it. But I'm saying like before this new peace accord,
Yeah.
it's been 10 years since there's been any kind of conversation about it.
It seems
Okay.
so. 6 years.
Abraham Accords. That's what I was looking for. That's
Okay,
the one.
okay.
The Abraham Accords. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Leave that in, by the way. the Abraham Accords. Okay, so it wasn't 10 years. Good.
Well, I mean, but still 6 years.
That's a lot.
That's a long time to let these warring, this war continue on. And
So this is a really, really landmark event. So
let me just say, sort of.
Okay.
But yes.
Right, because very next day, signed it the very next day, they started lobbing trash at each other.
Here's the look at. Let me read a few things that I found. Okay, so in was it just September? What did I write? September 29th, they signed the treaty. Okay, and here are the terms. The plan calls for an immediate ceasefire, which the next day failed. Now, let me just say this though. I don't want to rain on the parade because this is an epic event. I don't care what your political alignment is. Peace in the world, especially in that part of the world. This is an epic day to celebrate. Whether you're a left, right, independent, whatever you are, we found at least agreement on paper to commit to peace, right? That's where, so where you started, celebrate. But the very next day, as you're saying, we failed to follow through. And
but it's not we.
Well, it's both sides of both sides.
For goodness sakes, like America isn't Israel. America isn't Gaza. Like why?
But we were part of the
this to
agreement,
win,
though.
Man.
We were part of the agreement that we signed the agreement in place.
Okay.
So we have to own what we're.
But what did we
managing.
do?
What didn't we do? Maybe it's a better way.
I can't.
Because okay, let me go.
I have a solution. I was in the military.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're about to get dicey
There was. Look, we had a general, and I loved it. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but there was you could look it up, and it was amazing. He said, "I'm going to carpet bomb the out of them until they stop," and that's what he said. That's the solution, and we can bring every American home. The end. And everybody freaked out. But that's look, being in conflict. I was in conflict. I've seen this stuff. That's the only answer that these people understand.
Yeah, escalation of power is an interesting methodology.
Because they will always think that they've got the short end of the stick. I want this. I want this. Well, let's compromise. Well, compromised by definition is you giving up something to make sure the other side that I'll get the whole if I can give up something.
Yeah.
And this person, well, I'll just like in a marriage, well, I compromise all the time, right? But we don't get everything we want, and she doesn't get everything she wants.
That's right.
So Hamas is not going to get everything they want, and Israel's not going to get everything they want. That's what the compromise is for. Okay, you know what? We're going to say we're not going to get everything, but as long as the end goal is this, we're okay with letting that stuff go. But then you're going to get the people who are going to be like, no, I want, and I want, and I want.
Yeah. Well, and again, immediate ceasefire, return of all hostages. Now let's talk about that. Yeah, you can go in and bomb a place and just kill more people. So is that are you using peace to gain peace? No. Ultimately, if we could figure out a way to make peace from peace, that would be a better way than bombing.
How did so Japan started something ugly back in the day, right? How did it end?
Terribly.
But immediately. There was nothing after that.
I don't know. It was terrible. And
I hate to say this, but I don't believe that violence is always the answer. I want it, but it has to be part. I mean,
so let me throw a challenge at it. What's your biblical worldview on how violence is the answer to solving peace?
I want everybody to get to the table and start having a conversation. I want everybody to hug and to end all conflict.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are a fallen people. We have a violent disposition. We're genetically disposed to violence. We were asked by Jesus to overcome these things that are naturally in us because we invited it in when we fell as a race.
Yeah.
We decided to fall from God and go against how God intended for us to live. So I want us to be a part of that. unfortunately, those who don't, accept the gift of grace and love and mercy from God, they chose, themselves, greed, humanity. Humanity is greedy by nature.
Self, yeah.
So we will probably, until, His Majesty comes back and tells us, hey, look, you guys are being stupid. And now I'm here to fix it.
Yeah.
Then it's probably going to be like that forever. So no, I don't want it. But I know that the rapid, intense, violent answer, and I mean just incredibly violent answer, will end things almost immediately. Because when an extraordinary display of force to somebody who thinks they're powerful and realizes that they're not even remotely close to it, they go, oh, I made a mistake. Maybe I should rethink this.
Okay, so let me throw the question out there that's going to make people that are watching this guffaw, like just, oh my. Okay, here's the question. So how do you reconcile love your neighbor? Or, who's your neighbor?
This the guy you were hoping I wouldn't say.
It's what?
When they asked Jesus, they're like, well, who's my neighbor? And Jesus answered, the guy you were hoping I wouldn't say.
Yeah, the bad guy, the person who plays the villain in the...
Whoever you're hoping I won't say.
Yeah. I love your enemies, we're told to do. Like literally, Jesus tells us to love our enemies. So
it's easy to love your family. It's easy to love your friends.
And I don't think I think he was being literal when he said these things. I take them very literally. And so that's why I struggle with, escalating power over power only works until you lose power. And then someone else puts their power over you. And the whole point of peace is to, why people don't want to compromise is part of the terms, right? The prisoner exchanges, I think probably the prisoners and the hostages are all just ploys to get something, right? That's if I hold these people, but they want transitional governances, they want demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. So now I'm giving up my weapons. Now I'm making myself more vulnerable.
Which is giving up the weapons is different than demilitarization.
Okay, talk about that.
Demilitarization means that you remove military presence.
Yeah, so you're right, because some of these talked about making it a terror-free zone, and some of those again these words and language.
So no one said that disarmament. Disarmament is different.
That's fair. That's a good point.
But I want to look at this, so we understand what mutually assured destruction is. So both of us. That's the reason why the United States hasn't been. Even though the world scene. I don't think it's true, but some people think that the world scene believes that we are imperialists and that we believe that we're the big brother and the police of the entire planet. Mm-hmm. And I look at that like, okay, the reason why the world has not tried to, eradicate us off the planet is because we have the power to say, hey, we can be whoever we want. Mm-hmm. And then that's the reason why Russia is the way they are, because they have the power to say we can be whoever we want. And North Korea, being a small, tiny little speck on the map, has the second largest army on the planet. And they are able to do that because they have the power to do so. And so I understand that we could say that we're powerful until someone bigger than us comes along. But when the entire planet gets together and says, all right, now there's got to be a change because you guys are going out of line. And it's one small group of people making the mess.
Yeah.
I think there should be... this is my opinion.
Sure.
I think there should be a concerted effort to eradicate that group because that is a terror organization.
Yeah. I mean, this starts. The simplest versions of this are explained as Palestine wanting statehood. That's like the soft side.
How does it work? How does it work on the Middle East with stuff like that? Like, like we have the United States, like, Colorado's different than Utah. So can that be a thing? Israel, and then we've got Palestine. There's two different states, like Europe, the European Union, right? How does that work?
I don't know, but I just know as I looked up these terms, a conditional pathway toward acceptance of Palestine's self-determination, which makes them a state, and recognition of Palestinian statehood. So that's the soft sell, because everyone's like, oh, they should, why shouldn't they? Oh, they don't have a statehood or self-governance, like. I think most people wouldn't even know that.
So who's running that government?
Well, there's where it gets dicey, and you're dealing with hostages and dead people and bombing things and the whole, like, it's a very, again, we're back into it being this is throwback again, the 70s. Palestinian PLO, right, is back, and
I think they should do what North Korea is doing with South Korea. I think it's funny.
I don't.
So South Korea has decided just recently to start booming over their loudspeakers how much they hate North Korea. Yeah. And North Korea has responded by sending balloons of poop and trash over the border. No violence, just here's some poop, you stupid idiots. That's the way it should be done, right? Okay, you wanna yell at us and get mad, all right, here's some poop. That'll solve it all.
It seems like it'll solve something.
Oh man, that's great. So I want to say that the peace accords are absolutely necessary, but this is an answer when everybody asks me different questions about my motivations on certain things. What is your motivation? How do you get the power? How do you get the strength to do this? And the strength doesn't have to come with like violence or anything. The strength comes with what I genuinely want. If I want peace, I will have peace. If I say I want peace, but hold animosity in my heart, or hold a thought of, oh, you know what, dude, I didn't get everything I want. So I'm at peace only because I'm forced to be at peace. That's not peace.
Right.
I've not truly committed myself to peace because you have to really want it. So no matter what things we sign or who we get to do it, it's never going to happen if we don't truly want this.
No, it's true. And I watched the signing. I don't know if you were.
I did.
And I mean that was a peaceful exchange, and it seemed very complimentary to each other. And so it's a good thing. I think it. I started by going, well, it's kind of good, but no, we have achieved at least the first step toward peace in the Middle East, in the Gaza Strip at least, and I think that that's worth celebrating. Because
did everybody think that throughout those 15 times that I told you about since the 70s?
Right. Who knows?
They all believe the same thing, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah. But it's a step. We're only in phase 1 of this process. We haven't even really begun this whole step down transition, or turnover, whatever you want to call it. But it is worth celebrating. And there are people, prisoners are being released, and people are being sent back. Hostages are being returned to their homeland. So that's worth celebrating, no matter what your political ideology is. So, but
I mean, if you save one life, then you've succeeded in some measure, right?
Yeah.
But it really does have to end. But once again, if I feel that I'm being done wrong, I'm never going to find peace in myself. So I have to be at peace with whatever. I have to be at peace within myself.
The other thing too for me, I tell people this. I love when I watch movies, I love the vigilante justice kind of movies where someone who's done wrong is they avenge, because it feels good to my sense of right and wrong. Mm-hmm. But I have to really. It's kind of interesting because that's not the biblical methodology.
No,
and so I don't have an answer to this, unfortunately, but I do have opinions, and I think once again, it is a very challenging process to try and figure out how do we move forward in this.
So what's been the update since the violation of the contract? So what does that mean? I've lobbed missiles at you now.
Yeah,
even though we've had a peace accord. Now what?
I'll check with our producer here. Do we know? Has there been additional? Other than both sides violating the peace agreement, have we?
Nothing has been stated yet.
Yeah.
Nothing. So, and I don't expect this to be a week-long process, right? This is going to be years and years, probably.
And years, yeah.
So,
if deaths taper off, because it's never a clean break when a war or conflict ends, right?
Yeah. You know what? Let me think. I was reading this, and I think that once the prisoners are returned, which included some people who had been given life sentences, I think Hamas has 72 hours to step down from. Where did I read this?
From power?
or begin the process toward power.
How would they ever
release?
agree to that?
Okay, they said on October 3rd, in response to the proposal, Hamas agreed to release any remaining hostages in the Gaza and to hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to the Palestinian body of independent technocrats. And everyone wants to know, what's a technocrat, right? A technocrat, I looked this up, technological expert concerned with management and administration. But it talks about, here we go. Within 72 hours of the withdrawal of Israeli forces to pre-designated lines within the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian, in exchange for the Palestinian prisoners, including 250 serving life sentences. So there is actually a first step process, and it begins with a withdrawal, which you have to trust that they're going to follow through, because once you withdraw, you lose your power. So there is a process. I don't believe that's happened yet. Have they've withdrawn?
Not
Yeah.
yeah.
So since they've not withdrawn, we're still at square one. We have some paper peace deal, and hopefully we can get to step 2.
What I'm asking is from a scriptural standpoint.
Yeah.
We hear that they're God's chosen people. Are they God's chosen people? I thought there was a new covenant that encompassed all of us. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right.
I think
Definitely right.
so what we're getting at is dispensationalism, which is a view amongst many Christians. I do not identify as a dispensationalist. So dispensationalists will believe that Israel and Jewish people are under a different dispensational period, and Christians are under a different period, right? I had somebody on recently to really go deep on dispensationalism and to say, hey, is this stuff accurate? Is Israel under a different period? So Andrew Klavan from the Daily Wire will say stuff like, I don't think Andrew Klavan's a Christian. I don't think Ben Shapiro needs to come to faith in Jesus because he's doing great as a Jew, right? And it's like, no, Ben Shapiro needs to come to faith in Jesus. I want Ben Shapiro to be a Christian. I'm not going to water that down. He needs Jesus. So you're getting at dispensationalism. I hold to the view that the church is the continuation of Israel, and God has something planned for Israel, and I don't know how it's all going to work out. There seems to be a lot with the prophecies and a lot with just the establishment of them as a nation, a lot with these things. And so we've had these debates on my channel before. We've wrestled through the scriptures before, and there's a lot in here about all Israel will come to faith in Jesus at some point in Romans. I think it's Romans.
Well, it says
7.
all
I'm trying to find
people.
the verse for you right
all
now.
people. Oh, pause this real quick. So this is one thing I wanted to bring up. Why has there been such a historical fight against Israel? Why? Why are the Jewish people kicked out of every country they've ever been in? Why is all these people want to eradicate the Jewish people off the planet? And I mean, we can even go in the Bible. It doesn't say that. But why are I was going to bring this is I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
They have been the world demons and enemies forever since the inception. Why?
Well, I don't know. I think that a big piece of it is, they're God's chosen nation, and people. I don't know. I have to think about that. Well, okay. First of all,
The world has hated them.
they've been nomadic. They had no land to begin with. So then you get into the land grab thing, and they were given the promised land. So the promised land was Canaan, which didn't belong to them. And so, they were at war from day one, right?
From the jump.
Yeah. So I don't know if I know. I'm not sure I understand how to answer that question.
They've been kicked out of almost every country. There's been 100 something.
Yeah.
That's just been ejected. Why? What is it about the Jewish people that everybody finds so distasteful? And behavioral. I don't see any behavioral issues. They run every movie that has ever been produced in the history of mankind has been done by Jewish producers and Jewish money, every one of them.
Yeah.
So they're, I guess, at the seat of Hollywood's propaganda machine. But I don't. Why are they?
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that
by
question.
the planet.
I don't really have. I mean, other than we're told Jesus said they hated me, they're going to hate you too. But that's that's post. That's Christian.
That's what the dispensationalism is about. Because you remember those funny videos that we send around to each other?
Yeah.
Or Jesus like, no.
No,
You're talking about me. No,
yeah.
I'm talking about Phil on his couch watching the Steelers game.
I saw a new one. Jesus is in a swimming race and he runs across the water and wins. Anyway, that was funny. But
in Romans, I think it's Romans 10. I'm trying to find the verse for you right now. How it all plays out, it sure does seem like, man, everyone's rising up against Israel, but is Israel being sloppy? Those are questions someone like you is way more equipped to answer than me. I don't understand the geopolitics. I don't understand just war theory the way you do. But it seems like, man, the church is the church. I would say it's the continuation of New Israel. And God has some sort of plan for his original people. And that's in Scripture. That's in Romans. How that works? Oh, I wish I knew. I don't know. So Romans 10, I'm trying to find the verse for you. But not all Israel accepted the good news. For Isaiah said, Lord, who has believed our message? Consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the faith is heard through the word about Christ. But I did ask, they did not hear. So this is talking about Israel hearing but not accepting. Paul is talking about how he's so distraught that his people, Israel, aren't coming to faith. And then there's a verse that says, and all Israel will be saved. And I don't know what to do with that. Like, I don't know how that all works. Mm-hmm. I would like to believe that there's going to be some sort of revival where the Jews will come back to faith, right? Here it is, Romans 11:25. It says, I do not want you to be ignorant of this mystery, brothers and sisters, so that you may not be conceited. Israel has experienced the hardening in part until the full number of Gentiles has come in. So Paul's going out to the Gentiles, the Jews, they don't like that. He's writing to a mixed church in Rome, both Gentiles and Jews. Gentiles are just non-Jewish people, non-Jewish Christians.
Goyim.
Verse 26, and in this way, all Israel will be saved. As it is written, the deliverer will come from Zion. He will turn godlessness away from Jacob. And this is my covenant with them when I take away their sins. As far as the gospel is concerned, they are enemies for your sake. But as far as election is concerned, they are loved on accounts of the patriarchs. For God's gifts are irrevocable. There's a lot of tension there. It says all Israel will be saved. It says they're hardened right now. But it says that because of the patriarchs, because of Abraham, because of Jacob, that at some point it sounds like God's gonna turn Israel to him, back to Jesus. I don't know how that works.
Me neither. I don't know how it works either. I mean, and then there's the other hand where you hear, the only way to the Father is through me. Mm-hmm. Well, if they don't believe in him, how do they get there?
Yeah.
And what happens to all of the Gentiles who didn't believe? I mean, are we down a different, system?
Yeah.
What do you mean by a different timeline?
Dispensationalism is the view that there's different dispensational periods and that God interacts with his people in different agreements. And so the Jews are under a different dispensational period, and we as Christians are under a new one. So sometimes that can look real wonky, and saying, like Christians that are like really into Israeli stuff and just give Israel a blank check to do anything. Mm-hmm. That's how that can look, right? And I don't want to name names on here. We've talked about this on my channel extensively. I had my friend on who's a dispensationalist, and we were trying to kind of hash this out, because he was like, you sound like a dispensationalist. I'm like, I'm not a dispensationalist. You need to believe in Jesus, right? Whereas covenantal theology, which would be, hey, there are different covenants that God has, and we are under the new covenant, and the church has replaced Israel as the new Israel. So I'm kind of in between both positions. I think God is going to save Israel, and I think God has a plan for Israel. I don't know how that works.
Man, I got to say, that's a really good question, because I've always understood that it's an Abrahamic religion, Christianity and Judaism. Mm-hmm. And really, if you want to get down to it, Islam as well.
Yep.
We all believe in the same God. Jews believe that the Messiah has not come. I think this is the difference. This is in my brain. This, come from a biblical standpoint. The difference between a Jew and a Christian is that we accepted Christ. So that's literally the difference. So, and then whatever Christ brought with him. And then Jews were like, well, no, he didn't come. And this is why. He was supposed to be a warrior. He was supposed to come in and be a king and be, rich and all this other stuff. And he was supposed to deliver Israel, and he never did. So that can't be Jesus. Or that Jesus cannot be our Messiah. He's not the Mashiach. And then, we as Christians, we say, well, you guys are on your way. If we believe in the same God, how are they not accepted? And are they the chosen people? Like we accept, biblical Christians, we accept Israelites being the God's chosen people. Well, yes, in the Old Testament. And just like Sean said, he said, aren't we under a new covenant? And then Jesus said exactly that. He said, no one comes unto the Father except through me. That's pretty clear. That's not, there's no mincing of words there. Right. That's like, I am the way, the truth. I'm the way. They didn't call themselves Christians back then. They called it the way. So I am the way, the truth, and life. No one comes unto the Father except through me. Yep. So it would be difficult as even Messianic Jews. How would they be able to regulate that? I'm going to be Messianic Jews are funny because they're basically Christians, but still have all the rules of the Jews. I can't mitigate that. And so just like he was saying, the dispensationalism is that, all of that stuff wasn't for us. It was for them. And we're in a different time, so we get something different. That's what those funny videos are, Yeah.
Let's take a look at a few things. I think the one thing we got to do is we have to realize that oftentimes Scripture is written in hyperbole. So when it says all, in hyperbole, that means something different than to be literal, right? Second thing is it's hard for me, and I've never seen this podcast, so I don't know if you guys, the guy that was on the right side. So he said we have a new covenant, right? And dispensationalism is, as they define it, I would say it pretty similarly, that there is a time in which God dealt with humanity in a specific way. Old Testament, New Testament would be two different covenants, right? So in my mind, there are at least two different dispensations, right? Now, what does that mean about the Jewish people? I don't know, but the book of Romans is interesting. It's clearly the highest theology book in the New Testament, and it's talking in large about a new way of God doing business with man. Like, Jacob I loved, Esau I hated. I'll have mercy on whom I have mercy, and compassion on whom I have compassion, it says. And that process was really challenging for me. I think that's Romans 8 or 7 or 8. I think it's 8. And I always struggled with that verse until I realized, no, this is God saying, you don't get to tell me who comes to heaven. I do. And I'm changing the way I'm doing it. I'm opening this up to your acceptance of Jesus, not to your adherence to faith in the Jewish tradition. And that's a different dispensation in my mind. It's a covenant still. It's a new covenant, right? And he like you said, he even says, I give you a new covenant. So I give you
very literal. There's no
that's not hyperbole.
That's what I'm saying. We say hyperbole, and we say he spoke in parables. There were times when he was very, very, very direct.
And that's one of
the stuff where you want to perk up, you want to pay attention.
Yeah. And so for me, here's what I know. I know that I don't know who's everyone that's going to be in heaven, but I do know what I believe is the method to get there.
Yeah.
That God has provided a very clear path, and it's not
That's why we're not Jewish.
Yeah.
That's why we say we're not Jewish.
It's not through being good enough. It's not through, getting a certain score on your goodness factor. It's through your belief that Jesus Christ is my only hope. And that's it. Who does that end up being? I don't know. I mean, I suspect if we're even aware of others than Jesus, we'll see people that we're like, wow, a little surprised by that.
Yeah. And I'll probably be surprised about me not making it.
People that aren't there, yeah.
Yeah. And when I want to say that I'm right there where I should be. Then everybody always has that question: am I doing it right? Like, did I read that wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but it's not based on your adherence to doing well once you've received his grace in your life. It's just you receiving his grace is it. That's the whole thing.
That's the whole purpose of grace. For sure.
So it's interesting.
We said we weren't going to say that. We're not allowed to say, "Ooh, interesting."
And leave it at that. we can say interesting.
I'm with Sean, man. I don't know. What does that mean? I don't have any answers for that. Because
well, let me say this. There is one. Okay, so this is an argument that can be made for dispensationalism. Are we due all of the promises that were given to the Israel nation through covenant?
No, that's Abraham's.
Right.
That was Abraham's.
So it's hard. So again, then I'm like, well, but we have a new covenant with Jesus that offers us a different way to heaven, so it's hard for me not to think that there are at least a couple different dispensations in a way that, we are not due to, we're not inheriting Abraham's covenant.
Doesn't say that ever.
Yeah, we want to hold it to the fact, but that covenant hasn't changed with the Jews. Maybe that's true. I don't know, but I do know that Jesus spells out a very clear path for us, and it's different than the Old Testament. So that's what I'm going to stick with.
Yeah.
Oh, and make sure to click the link below, right? Let's get on that one for the hats.
All right, so that, I don't think that we have come to a conclusion on this. So I want you all to stay tuned for further episodes about, the Israel and Palestine conflict. We will definitely keep you updated. We are watching this closely, just like anything else that looks like it and any other disruptive cultural issues that we're dealing with. And it's a hot time to have a podcast for sure. So we are the Conversation SLC. Like and follow, please. If you'd like to know more about who we are and what we believe, and you want to hear some of the sermons that Mike has so graciously put on, you can go to ConversationSLC.church. That way you could see, who we are, what we're about. And of course, we're on YouTube, right where you're at now. Like and follow, hit the bell to get our new episodes. I'm Alvin, it's Mike. Have a great night.
See ya.